Hey everyone, this is Eric B. Horn, and welcome to another session of the Career Clarity Virtual Summit. I hope that you have been taking a lot of notes and gaining a lot of understanding and awareness based off of the multiple topics that you can talk about dealing with your career. So I hope it's a conversation starter for yourself and for others who may be going through the same thing. But today, we're going to teach you how to be a career sensei. Now, when I first read this based off of my wonderful guest, first thing I thought about was Bruce Lee, Kung Fu movies, and things of that nature. But after one, gain a better understanding of who she is, and two, just sitting down and, well, not sitting down, but on the phone and having a conversation with her, I can truly understand why she calls herself the Career Sensei. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to just read a quick bio for my very special guest, Yolanda M. Owens. Yolanda is the founder of CareerSenseii Consulting and the award-winning author of the book, How to Score a Date with Your Potential Employer. I love that name. Yolanda's writing and career advice has been featured in publications like Forbes, The Muse, CBS News, USA Today, and the Huffington Post, and it goes on and on and on and on. Very, very talented. Her non-traditional approach to job seeking encourages individuals to think outside the box. Once again, outside the box. The status quo, we do not use the status quo or just traditional ways to find jobs or create opportunities for yourself. Well, think outside the box in their comfort zones to better market their skills, attributes, and unique experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yolanda M. Owens to the Career Clarity Virtual Summit. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much, Eric. How's everything going for you today?
Oh, things are going well. I'd like one thing that our viewers didn't know or don't know is, we kind of gone through a technical journey to get this interview going. The first time we sound like the old Verizon guy. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? But it gets to a point where, good things come to those who wait. So I'm pretty sure that, the challenges that we face from a technological standpoint will be well worth the wait based off of the overall value that we'll provide you with today's interview. So based off of that, I wanted to get my audience to gain a better understanding of you. So who is Yolanda M. Owens, and what inspired you to become a career sensei?
Well, the journey to being a career sensei has been an interesting one. I feel like everything that I've done over the last 10 years has kind of led me to this point. So I've been was a college recruiter, corporate recruiter for 20 plus years. I spent most of my career recruiting young professionals for internships and entry-level positions. And in the midst of all of that, I always enjoy providing them professional development opportunities and things of that nature. For me, it wasn't enough just to recruit them. I also wanted to make sure that I set them up for success once they got into the jobs that I hired them for. So I spent, like I said, 20 plus years hiring and as a recruiter doing that. In the midst of all of that, I also became a published writer.
Nice.
That was a bucket list item for me. Was something that I'd always wanted to do, was to write a book. And my friends always said, you should write a book. And he's like, you're always giving this great advice. So I took my love of writing and my love of recruiting and kind of married those two. And that's how we came up with the book, How to Score a Date with Your Potential Employer. I always used to laugh and joke with my friends that, interviewing was like going on a series of blind dates. So I took that theme and ran with it with the book. And like I said, what was supposed to just be a bucket list item then turned into a somewhat writing career. The book got published, and then from there I ended up doing a bunch of freelance writing. Like I said, my work's been published in Forbes. I wrote regularly for The Muse. I've been featured in AOL Jobs and USA Today, and it just ballooned beyond my wildest expectations. And then from there, I have also been writing resumes. Goodness, that's been my side hustle since I was in college.
Nice.
The side hustle that kind of never went away. So after the book came out, I saw an uptick in people asking a request for resumes and then also for career counseling. So I actually set up a side business doing that and found that I enjoyed doing that much more than recruiting at the end of the day. After a lot of trial and tribulation, I ended up I had gotten laid off from a job, took some time off and started doing some counseling and things of that nature. Found that I really enjoyed it. Then went back into recruiting and got into a position where I wasn't happy. And so I kind of took a leap of faith. I was just like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So I actually ended up speaking with a counselor and I told him what my current work situation was. And we didn't speak more than 5 minutes. And he was just like, okay, I'm going to stop you right there. He's like, first, what you need to do is you need to quit your job. And secondly, you need to run your own business. And so he had no idea that I had the side business. And this has been something that I have been thinking about. So I actually ended up taking his advice. I saw him on a Saturday. On that Monday, I went in and quit my job. And,
wow.
Left that Friday and haven't turned back since. That was a little over a year and a half ago. So have been running the business full time. It's been going great. It's great to be able to wake up every morning and do something that I'm passionate about and that I feel is my true purpose. I'd love nothing more than at the end of the day helping people be successful in their careers, kind of having their own chandelier moments. And I feel like all of those trials and tribulations that I went through over the last 10 years, getting me to this point has helped prepared me for that. Because now when I talk to people who have gone through similar situations, I can talk to them from a real vantage point and understand where they're coming from and have an understanding and be able to coach them through that and my mistakes and what they should and shouldn't do, in their circumstances. So I think it has made me a better coach and a better counselor for going through that. So like I said, I tried starting the business a few years ago. I don't think I was quite ready. So I needed to go through a few more things to get me to this point. So that's kind of where my journey has taken me to becoming Career Sensei. So like I said, it's been a lot of ebbs and flows and goods and bads, but it's led me to this place and it's a very happy place to be right now.
Nice. That's hopefully, the next book that you write will be an autobiography because people need to hear, when it's your story, you really don't dig deep into it, right?
Yeah.
Based off of what I heard, one, you want to set people up for success, which is something that, a lot of people just use the ladder and say, okay, people get set up for failure, but you're purposely trying to make people successful, which is a huge gift within itself. But then also you touched on the point where, a high level of risk. And in one of the, future sessions, we talk about the risk and rewards of changing careers, but you took it a step further and on a Friday, you had this conversation with this guy, and then on a Monday, you say, okay, I'm done. That takes, not too many people can do that, even though, but you have a great support system and things of that nature, but you just to come to the decision to say, okay, you know what, I'm not happy. I'm gonna, move forward. I commend you on that because you have so many people, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are viewing the sessions from this summit that's currently unhappy in their career, and then they're stuck, and even though they hate what they're doing, and hate is a very strong word, right? They will stay in what they're doing for the next, 10, even 20 years because they don't want to undergo the risk and the rewards that come from just saying, okay, I'm going to take that leap. So that's real commendable. But I definitely think an autobiography is the next, if not the next book, maybe the next after the next one, because the story alone is inspiring for people just to, it's a wake up call, just to say, hey, I'm not happy, so what I'm going to do about it. But you took it a step further to say, okay, I'm done. So I definitely commend that. So which is a great segue to the next question. So based off of your experiences for the last 10 years, it's led you to become this career sensei. So can you kind of pinpoint one or two of the, best experiences that prepared you to become the career sensei? Like what, even if it's a aha moment to say, okay, you've been working with a client and they say, this, you say to yourself, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because if you didn't take that leap, because I look at things as a chain reaction. If you didn't take that leap, maybe you may have not been able to serve that person and have a huge impact in their career and in their lives. So did you have any aha moments?
I had a few aha moments. Like I said, I had gotten laid off, which was traumatic in and of itself. But I didn't stay idle long. 2 weeks after I had gotten laid off, there had been someone I had been working with. I was working with a company that had a startup incubator. And so I had started helping some of the startup companies there with some of their HR needs, and did some training with them with some of their younger professionals, and did some training with their managers. And one of the startups I had worked with reached out to me. He's like, hey, I found out that you're no longer with the company, and I'd like you to help me launch my business.
Wow.
So he was doing a video interviewing portal. And he didn't have recruiting experience, and he said that he had had such a pleasant experience with me in terms of training that he wanted my expertise. And so that turned into probably the biggest crash course in running a business. That was another thing. I've always had a strong business acumen, and I've always enjoyed marketing and things of that nature. And so that's something that I've had a kind of a natural talent for, and he just kind of helped me take it to the next level. So I kind of got a crash course MBA. That's period. I learned, like I said, it was just he and I running the business, and we had a couple of developers, and we were able to launch. He ended up folding the business because he decided to go in another direction. That he decided that wasn't really what his passion was, so he decided to pursue something else. But for that 8 months that we were working on that, again, it was the best experience that I could have ever had. So like I said, it was 6 months getting the business launched, and then we had started going into, investors and started working with some clients and whatnot. So that was huge for me. So that was the aha moment number one for me. And then the aha moment number two was actually my husband. It was funny because, as I mentioned, I was doing some, coaching and doing a lot of speaking engagements and things of that nature in that time that I was off. I really wasn't actively seeking positions because I needed some time off. Right before, I had gotten laid off, I was doing everything. I was working a full-time job. I was promoting a book, and I was writing for 4 different publications.
Wow.
I really didn't have much time to breathe. So I wanted to take some time to breathe. And when after I had got off my hiatus and taken the new job, my husband was just like, you know what? You were actually happy when you were off and you were working with, clients, when you were helping people with, coaching, and you were writing resumes. It's like, that's the happiest I've ever seen you. Why don't you go back to doing that? And I'm like, no, I just started this new job. And he's like, I need a steady paycheck, things. And he's like, no, you really should consider doing that.
Wow.
And so I had one other person who mentioned that to me. And so then when I went and I spoke with a counselor, and he told me that I should quit my job and start my own business, that was confirmation number 3 for me.
Right. Third time's the charm.
Yes, they always come in 3. So that was my aha moment. And it was funny when I finished with the session, I was like beaming from ear to ear, and I got in the car. And so my husband was like, well, what did he say? And I told him. He's like, well, I've been telling you that for about 4 years now. So about time.
Like, I should have got the credit.
So yeah, he basically wanted the credit for that. So I kind of credit him for making that leap of faith. He was just like, why wait? He's just like, what's going to change between now and Monday or now and 6 months from now? He's like, absolutely nothing. So he's like, you got my full support. I'm here for you for whatever you need. He's like, you've already got the business set up. Now you're just going to do it full time. So do whatever you need. I've got your back. So that was the other chandelier moment, because everything else was kind of there. I just needed that nudge in the right direction. I always, I laugh at this in hindsight, because hindsight's always 2020. Yeah, that, I was being stubborn. And when you're being stubborn, the universe has a way of pushing you in the right direction that you need to go in when you don't want to go. It makes circumstances as such that you have no other direction to go in but the directions that you need to. And that was a point I got drop kicked where I needed to be. I got to the point where the job where I was no longer satisfied. I didn't, wasn't enjoying what I was doing or anything anymore. So it got to the circumstance where I'm just like, okay, I don't even like myself. What do I need to do? And to get that confirmation, and was at that point ready to take that leap of faith. So sometimes, you have to be patient and wait for those signs. When things are supposed to happen, they will align in a way for it to happen. And you're going to know. And like I said, either it's going to happen automatically or it's going to drop kick you to the point you know that needs to happen. So that was a very, very good lesson to me. And then, like I said, looking back now at all the things that I went through the last 10 years, it's so prepared me to be able to be a better coach and counselor, talking with people about their careers. Because now I've had those types of experiences where a few years ago, I hadn't gone through some of those things. So now I can listen with and see with a different lens and what people are going through and have a better understanding to be able to coach them through that.
Wow. It's from what I'm hearing, it goes back to the experience and being prepared. And I'm pretty sure when you were in the moment, it wasn't like, oh, okay, I know I'm being prepared for something. Well, I'm being prepared for X, Y, and Z, right? You go through certain, trials and tribulations to help, mold you. And that's a big takeaway that I want the audience to come across. Like, you may be currently struggling in your career and you may not know how to get out, but it's preparing you for something greater. And I don't want it to be taboo, but, just based off what Yolanda just said, she's been doing this for 10 years and you can't really put a timer on when that experience will come into fruition, right? Just being transparent, I have patience, but then I don't have patience because I'm always trying to figure out the next thing that will be the one that really takes me where I need to go, as opposed to, first listening, being aware of the signs that you are given, and then more importantly, enjoy the journey. And I know that I want to be transparent. When I say enjoy the journey, guys, I'm saying this to myself also, because I haven't, I'm slowly but surely learning that. But just your story, Yolanda, based off of that, it speaks volumes, right? So, which is a segue to my next question, fellow author. Anytime that I would talk to an author, I would always ask them, why did you write your book? Why? You just didn't say, okay, I'm gonna get in front of my laptop or get a pen or a paper. Hey, I'm gonna write this book. Something triggered something inside of you to, write your book. So based off of that, what inspired you to write your book, How to Score a Date with a Potential Employer? I love the name. Let me say the name one more time because I just love the name so much. How to Score a Date with Your Potential Employer. I love the name. What inspired you to write your book?
I think it's true when they say that creativity comes out of dark places. I was working at a job again where I was not happy and I wasn't feeling that my talents were being utilized. And so I was, instead of moping in it, I was just like, I've always said that I wanted to write a book. And also it was at a point in where I was in my career in terms of college recruiting. I was saying that there was a void, that there were a lot of students who weren't getting the counseling and coaching that they needed in order to have the tools to succeed in their job searches. Okay. And, I was having a lot of conversations and talking with them, and they weren't getting it from home. They weren't getting it at school, and they were just very lost. And some of the information that they were getting wasn't accurate. And so I kind of made it my personal mission. Like I said, in my job, I was always talking with young professionals and trying to, get them in a place, not only just to hire them for the job, but to make sure that they were successful in their jobs. And so based on a lot of those talks that I had done, I started thinking about the book and how that would map out. It started out as, kind of your cliche job search book. And like, no, this isn't me. I was just like, what's going to be my spin? What's going to be my angle? What's going to make it different than what else is out there? And, I was talking with a friend on the phone one day, and she's just like, you're kind of like the Carrie Bradshaw of job searches. It's like, you're kind of like a Sex in the City meets, Strunk and White. And so, it's just like, all going back to your dating advice and things of that nature. And so that's kind of where the title stemmed from, was, how to score a date with a potential employer, and her and I talking about that, and how I was equating, going on, a million blind dates was like going on job interviews where, people are judging you, and you got to wear the right outfits and say the right things, and you want people to like you. And so I kind of took that comedic spin on it and wrote the book. And it was much easier once I had that theme to go on, because again, I liked having fun, and I think that job searches should be fun. And you think of it in terms of dating. That's something that everyone can relate to, is, trying to find someone to appreciate you for who you are. And when you're going and looking for a position, that's exactly what you're doing. You're looking for someone to appreciate you and your talents as you are. And so what's the best way of going about that? And finding the right employer, and the right employer finding you. So that's kind of where everything stemmed with the book, and how it got its title.
Nice. You can pick it up on Amazon. Click on the link below the video. I need you to purchase 4 copies for yourself. I'll purchase 5 copies, because the biggest thing that you said that really stood out, and I would want to repeat it. You said job searches should be fun.
Yes.
Right? And just that shift in mentality, right? It can alleviate a lot of stress, and a lot of worry, a lot of just overall frustration, because the masses think about finding a job. It's very stressful. It's very enduring task. But if you parallel that to, like I said, going out on dates, even though going out on dates could be a little dramatic, a little stressful, and things of that nature, but like you said, going out on dates, it's a fun process, right? Yeah. So just for you to align that up with the job search process, that should, revolutionize a lot of job seekers who are looking, right? So I think that would be a huge testament to go pick up your book, just to be exposed to that different type of mentality, right? Because I'm pretty sure that, you come across a lot of people that you coach. They're very stressed out. People don't go for career coaches. Oh, I'll say this, a good 85% of people that seek out career coaches, they're stressed out, they're tired, because they feel like we're the last resort, so to speak. So there's no fun, hip aspect to it. But just like I said, if and when, people will purchase your book and read it and consume that information, being exposed to that different type of mentality could be a game changer overall for so many job seekers. So I definitely commend you on that. So based off of, the audience getting an understanding of your knowledge, your expertise, your take on, how to approach looking for a job. If there's someone right now who's saying, okay, Yolanda, you've given me a lot of good content. I definitely want to work with you. How can someone reach out to you and work with you?
Yeah, I have a website. It's CareerSenseii Consulting.com. You can there's a form on there if you'd like to schedule a consultation with me. We can schedule a time and just chat. I like to start the initial process off with just a conversation. Most people come in thinking that they need certain services, things of that nature, but I like to have a conversation to find out what you really need. You may think that you just need to have a resume, or you may think that, you need help with your interviewing. It could be something completely different that you need, and hopefully help you get that chandelier moment that'll help propel your career forward. So I like to have a simple, a conversation, just talking a little bit about who you are, what your situation is, and then how I might be able to help. And then from there, kind of mapping out a plan, that works for you. And I do a number of different services. Probably my number one service is doing resumes, because like I said, I've been doing that for a really, really long time. I have a very unique approach to resumes. I'm very non-traditional in my approach. So I'm not the type of person who writes resumes for an applicant tracking system or uses search optimized words and things of that nature. I like to focus the resume on the person's personalities as well as their accomplishments, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make you stand out amongst the competition. If everyone is regurgitating everything that they've done since their third grade spelling bee, or regurgitating a job description, it's really hard to discern who the best candidates are. So again, if you can talk a little bit about your personality and put that in the forefront on the resume, and also talk about your accomplishments from a recruiting side and from an employment side, it's much easier for employers and recruiters to make better informed hiring decisions. Because again, it's not, anyone can put buzzwords or copy and paste a job description into their resume. It doesn't mean that they're qualified to do the job. So by focusing on those accomplishments, you can show what you've done, what you did in your roles to elevate it from point A to point B, what you did to make the job better than when you started in it. That's the conversation that they're going to want to have with you. And so if you can give them a little taste of that up front, then it's helpful. And then also in terms of the person and personality, companies are no longer just hiring for your skill sets. They also want to make sure that you're a cultural fit. So again, if you can give them a glimpse into your personality and what you're going to bring to their team or their organization, it helps them make more informed hiring decisions. And it's for better conversations in other stages of the interview and in the job search process. So again, I try to focus on that. I say that the formula is, if you can give them just enough information to pique their interest, but leave just enough out to continue the conversation, then you've done your job with regards to the resume. So that's the resume, the teaser to that. I also help people with, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles. And I would say my most popular thing is just having Q&A sessions with people. I would say about 85% of the people I work with are career transitioners. They've been in a career for a little while and they're looking to transition into something else, whether it's a different field, if it's a different industry, whatever the case may be. And so I do a lot of those career Q&A sessions as well. So those are wildly popular. I help people with networking, and I also do a lot with interview coaching. People need a lot of help with interviews. I see right now in the employment market, there's a lot of what I call PTSD going on in the employment market. And, this has kind of been a recent phenomenon for me. I've been talking to a lot of people, and, these are people who have graduated from Ivy League schools and have had wonderful positions and have had a great career trajectory. And they come to me and, they're like, I think that I could be a barista at Starbucks at this point. Wow. And you're like, it's like, wow, it's just like, you're such an accomplished person. And to know that people of that caliber can have those types of insecurities. And then you talk to them and they're going through some sort of PTSD, and to the point that they're questioning themselves and their abilities. So, it's a matter of building that up and making them realize that, yes, you have been doing this for all of this time. It's just a matter of you repurposing your skills so you can feel productive and purposeful and, and being able to contribute and elevate your skills from one point and translate those skills into something more. So I have a lot of those conversations as well. And like I said, and also with interviews, because you find that if you're not feeling that confidence in yourself, that also comes across in the
Right.
interview. So helping people overcome that in order to sound confident and be able to tell their story and without sounding like a rehearsed pageant queen at the end of the day. Exactly. So themselves and being comfortable telling that story and owning what they've done in their career and using that to help them move up the career trajectory.
Nice. Now, we've, laid out what you do and the services that you provide, right? But I wanted to dig a little bit deeper because in the event that someone is looking at this session right now and they're on the fence, right? I mean, they know that they need help with their networking or their resume or their cover letter or any of the services that you provide. One of the things that I see a lot of coaches do, not even in the career space, they don't say what they want for their clients, right? With regards to results. Now, since this is you coming from a non-traditional space, right?
Right.
Let my audience know what are some of the biggest results you want for your clients and the individuals that you work with. Because I feel that, a coach, because you have so many, and the reason why I'm asking you this, because you have so many coaches or experts that, they just go with the status quo, or they just provide cookie cutter services, and they're more concerned about collecting a check or getting a deposit as opposed to really fighting and being in the corner for the people that they are serving. But you are definitely cut from a different cloth when it comes to that. So based off of that, what are some of the results, if anybody who wants to work with you, what are some of the overall results that you would want for them?
I, at the end of the day, want them to be successful, and I want them to be confident in owning their professional story. And like I said, being able to tell that story and not make any apologies for it. I tell my clients that, one of the biggest mistakes that they make is trying to tell an employer what they want to hear. So many times clients will reach out to me and be like, well, I want you to help me, figure out how I should spin my story. And I'm like, I'm not here to help you spin the story. I'm here to help you tell your story. And you shouldn't make any apologies or try to tell an employer what you want them to hear. Going back to the dating analogy, if you're going on a date with someone and you're trying to be something that you're not, and you end up really liking this person and going deeper into the relationship, and then, after a few dates, and then you finally let your hair down and behave the way you normally would behave, then they're like, who is this person? And so, you're taking the funk there. And, they're just like, this isn't the person I fell for. So who are you? It's the same with your job search. If you go in telling, what you think they want to hear just to land the job, then you're both going to be blindsided, and it's not going to be beneficial to either one of you at the end of the day. So I tell people to bring your authentic self to your job search, to own your career story, flaws and all. And if an employer can fall in love with that, your skills, your personality, what you bring to the table, if they can, accept all of that, then you're off to a really good relationship. But if they don't fall in love with that, then you've probably dodged a bullet. That's probably someplace that you don't want to work anyway.
Right.
If they're questioning, the way you do certain things, or people worry about the kind of fonts that they have on their resume, things of that nature. I'm like, if that's a deal breaker for them, then you probably don't want to work there in the first place. So, like I said, consider that karmic and intervention, divine intervention on your part, if that's the case. So, but helping people feel comfortable with their stories, and then also letting them know that rejection is okay. Because if it's the job that's meant for you, then it's going to happen. Like I said, that employer is going to fall in love with you, flaws and all. And I also want them to walk away knowing that they should treat each interview as a learning experience. You're going to learn things about that company. You're going to learn what you want, what you don't want, and what you're willing to compromise by going through those experiences. And that should be your biggest takeaway. And you should also know that with every interview, even if you don't get the position, don't think that you don't get the job. It may, it may not
Okay.
be the position, it may not be the position that you interviewed for, but if you've made a great impression on them, 6 months from now, when a position that's perfect for you opens up, they may give you a call and not even have you interview. Be like, hey, you interviewed a few months ago, you were great. We have this new position open. If you want it, it's yours. I've seen instances, I've been subjected to that. I've had that happen before to me. So you just never know in connecting with people what will come of that. So like I said, just because you didn't get the position doesn't mean that you don't get the job. So those are some of the big takeaways that I like to have my clients walk away with. And like I said, I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been a candidate myself. And then, like I said, I have 20 plus years of, recruiting experience. So I know firsthand what employers are looking for. And I like to share those inside tips with my clients. Well, you may have read an article that says this. I'm telling you from someone who's been in the trenches for 20 years, that's not the case. This is what really is happening on the back end and what they don't want you to know and what they aren't telling you. So like I said, I find that beneficial. And even when I was recruiting, I would tell people that. There have been many times, and now that I'm no longer a recruiter, I can say this, but there've been, people would come into my office to interview for a job, and I'm like, okay, if you tell anybody I said this, I'm going to deny it, but you should run. Just run, because this position is not for you. This is not going to be a good fit for you, and I'm going to tell you why. I said, it's up to you, but these are some of the things that I'm saying that probably won't be a good fit for you. So, being honest and candid with people with that, because again, at the end of the day, I want people to be successful. And for me, I don't want that guilty conscience of bringing someone on board to an organization that they're not going to be able to be their best self.
Wow.
And it's not a help to them, and it's not a help to the organization. And it's not wasn't a help to me either if, 3 months from then, I'm going to have to start doing that search all over again.
Right.
So I want to make sure that it's the right fit on both ends. So that was always key for me. And it's key for me. And now that I'm on the other side working with clients to make sure that they aren't getting themselves into those types of situations.
Now, you know that you just took this interview. It was already at 100, right? But you just skyrocketed this to 1,000,000. And you can, I don't know about, the individuals that's looking at this session, but based off of that last question, you can feel that you want to help and you want people to succeed. It's bigger than just getting a paycheck, right? And those, you are a prime example of the type of coaches that, there need to be more coaches like you, because you're just not just doing it just to do it. You're doing it to help people change their lives, because if just because you interview for one position and you didn't get it doesn't necessarily mean that another position may be right around the corner. You've really, just saying that alone, right? You've uplifted and given a lot of hope to people who have gone on countless amount of interviews and they feel like they've always come up short. They felt like they killed the interview. They did very well. Everyone loved them. But then once their sense of pride and their sense of value, right? It goes down because they didn't, quote unquote, get the job. And it's like, no, just because you didn't get this one, there's another opportunity right around the corner. So, it's a lot of takeaways from this session, but I hope that my audience really gained what they really needed to gain from that last question. That, like I said, that was the one where you took it from 100 all the way to a zillion. Because on a side note, I'm gonna go back and look at this interview and take as many notes as possible, because a lot of the stuff that you said, even though I'm in a space to help people with their careers, what you said, I need to apply to my own formula, right? Because, disappointment doesn't necessarily mean defeat,
Exactly.
right? Which is huge. So to wrap everything up, now, like I said, they've gained a better understanding of you being an author, a great coach, a great resume writer, the services that you provide, how you want your clients to win based off of your services. Overall, what's next for Yolanda M. Owens? Hopefully some more books, because I've heard a whole bunch of book titles based off what you talked about a lot. But what's next for you, so my audience can keep a pulse on you?
I'm really hoping to expand the business in what I'm doing now. I'm actually working on a platform with a business partner of mine. So in addition to doing resumes, we will also be able to help people with digital portfolios.
Nice.
Since, a complement piece to the resume and your job search. I work with a lot of creatives who need to be able to display their work, but also, need to have a resume. So digital portfolios is a great way of doing that. And so working on a platform now to help people from a jobs perspective, not just putting together a website, but really geared towards a portfolio for job seekers. So I haven't really seen something like that in the marketplace. So like I said, that's next on the agenda.
Nice. Well, Yolanda, thank you for your time, your effort, your energy, your wisdom, just your different perspective on how to become a career sensei. And guys, if you are interested in gaining a better understanding of Yolanda, what I'm going to have is links to all of her social media handles, her email address. So if you wanted to reach out to her to work with her, which I highly recommend. But yeah, you really did a great job. I mean, usually I have something real witty to say at the end of these interviews, but I'm so taken aback from what you said. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity and providing me this platform to be able, to talk with your viewers. Like I said, it's a passion point of mine to be able to encourage others any way that I possibly can to help them succeed. So thank you for giving me another platform to be able to do that.
No, not a problem. Yolanda Owens, guys.